when they won't look you in the eye. Yeah, people, my friends, if you have a friend or a husband or a lover or a partner, business partner, you're dealing with someone and you find that whenever you're in that person's presence and you're speaking to each other, they won't look you in the eye. They look everywhere else. They won't look you in the eye. Of course, right away, you can't trust people. No one likes a person that can't look them in the eye. But more interesting is when you're with your husband or your lover and they can't look you in the eye. They're not being honest with you. I remember I had this brief lover. It was a very brief lover in my life. And whenever we were, I don't call it making love because I wasn't in love with this guy. I was taken by him. He was very sexy and all, but I wasn't in love with him. So for me, it's not making love. But he would look me in the eye in the lovemaking thing all the time. He would be looking me dead in my eye. And I never liked that because I never wanted to look him in the eye because I wasn't in love with him. I guess I was being dishonest too, because and then I wasn't, because he knew I wasn't in love with him. He knew I wasn't in love with him. So yeah, I wasn't being dishonest. It's just that you don't want to look a person in the eye if you're not trying to connect with them like that. I guess he was always looking me in my eye because he was trying to connect like that. But yeah, it's always the one that you don't want to look you in your eye that's looking you in your eye, right? But okay, my coming in this moment was just to drop the little wisdom that if you're dealing with someone and they can't look you in the eye, don't deal with them if you don't have to. Don't trust them. It's a sign of either they're guilty of something, they're not trustworthy. There's one other thing too. Sometimes it's insecurity. It could be that person's insecurity. They can have low self-esteem, but you have to be wise enough to decipher that. If it's happening to you or you're going through it, you have to exercise some wisdom there. Figure out for yourself, if they're not looking you in your eye, is it because they have low self-esteem or is it because they're not to be trusted? My husband, I have two ex-husbands really in my life. And I'm going to speak on the second one. I remember our love was so, I don't know, it was full of magic and it was very intense. The relationship between me and that man was very intense, very emotional, and seemed to be love. It seemed to be real love and a real love, deep connection, soul connection between me and him. But I had this one problem all the time. Whenever we were making out, he would look everywhere else but not in my eye. If he did look in my eye, like there's times when he would be on top of me, and he would look in my eye for a second and then he'll look away. There is times when I'm on top and I'm hanging over looking him dead in his face, and I felt uncomfortable looking him in his face. But the feeling I know specifically because I analyze it. My feeling uncomfortable and look away was coming from him feeling uncomfortable and not wanting that connection. And it always puzzled me because our love was so intense and so real and so deep anywhere else. It's like he was always holding my hand. He was always touching me, and he was always so tender, like tender love, you know. But yeah, there I don't know. I can't say I don't know. I do know that it has a lot to do with his insecurity, but I think it also had a lot to do with the two, insecurity and deception. Bottom line, you know, I know what it is. And now that the relationship is even over, and you know, when it's over and you can step back and look at the picture, you can see it more clearly. But when you're in it, you can't see it so clearly. Somebody else on the outside can tell you what it is. And that's why sometimes we should listen to other people that's on the outside of the whole thing, our thing that we have going on, your thing that you have going on. Sometimes, and again, we all have to have wisdom and our own discernment. You know, you can pray on that. If you're a prayerful person, if you believe in prayer, you pray and ask God for the wisdom that you need, and for you to be able to can tell when someone is deceiving you. They call it discernment. Yeah. So yeah, you know, I don't like that. If you're dealing with somebody and they can't look you in the eye, say bye bye, motherfucker.